Hi, that's Paul Bowerman. Bowerman 939, the Brigham Tea Company. We're going to be making some sauerkraut. And I've got a great recipe. This segment of the is I just picked this out of my garden. And I'm going to trim off all the little leaves that are around the edges of it. Now, these are all edible. If you were in a survival mode, you wouldn't want to waste these. You could always put them in a soup or something of that nature and cook them. Cook them and eat them. But, anyhow, so this is the head of cabbage I just picked out of my garden. And when you're cutting up cabbage for sauerkraut, cut it to the size you want. Doesn't matter what anybody else wants. Cut it to the size you want. I like mine a little bit bigger, but not terribly leafy. So I just start cutting it, and I cut it about about ½ inch thick, and all of this right here will become kraut and delicious kraut. Even if it's bigger than you think it should be, this will make fantastic sauerkraut. And you just don't overcomplicate it. The trouble I see with a lot of sauerkraut recipes is they're trying to do something that's just not necessary, and they always add salt and crunch it, and I even like this stuff that's right near the bait. I even just like to eat this. I love cabbage, and if it's got part of the center in it, just cut it thin. So, that's so good. Anyhow, this is second part of this video. I'll get back with you with the rest of it, the crowding part. Hi, this is Paul Bowerman of Bowerman 939 of the Brigham Tea Company, and this is the video on making sauerkraut. And whenever you ferment any food, you need to make sure you have the salt brine at the right ratio. That ratio is 3%, meaning that if in the brine, 3% of it is salt. Now you could add other things like pepper and stuff, that wouldn't matter, but the salt has to be 3%. So the way I do that is I put my scale out there. I make sure it's in grams. I put my empty jar on there. That tells me how much the jar weighs. Whatever container you're going to do to measure your brine. Then you tare it, that's what it's called. Then you fill the jar up to how much ever brine you think you're going to need. And I just know from experience that this is probably plenty of brine for the jar of sauerkraut I'm making. Now that says that's 855 grams. So now it's pretty simple. You just take 855 times 3%, and that tells you how many grams of salt you need to make that solution 3%. And this says that it's 25.6. It's better to have a little more salt than a little less salt. So I will just add 25. And now, so the way to figure out the 25 or the 26 grams, you simply tare it again that zeroes it out. And you start adding the salt to the brine until you get to 26 grams. Now there's 14, 17, 19, and it says 26. So we'll go to 26, 22, 24, 25, a little bit, 26. And I use this real salt. Really like it. Then simply, now your salt ratio is exactly what you want. And you can take some kind of steering device, stir that up good. Just use a chopstick here. You can actually pull this off the scales now and get rid of your scales because you know your percentage is right. Just stir that up good. Now it doesn't matter what you put in the jar, you know that this percentage of salt to this brine is what you're going to need to ferment or pickle the cabbage. So we'll set that aside and we'll stop this video and back the camera up and then we'll go from there. Okay, this is Paul Bowerman 939, and this video is on making sauerkraut. I've got my cabbage cut up here. We're going to cut some onion up. I love onion in it. We're going to cut some garlic up. We're going to cut some ginger up. You could do beets if you wanted, real sliced, real thin. You could do carrots in it. If you like carrots, you can do any kind of root vegetable. You'd even put radishes or something like that in it. Anyhow, we're going to cut some onions up. Don't matter what kind of onion either. If you like the red onions, do the red onion. If you like the sweet yellow onions, get the sweet. This just happens to be a yellow onion that I have. And I've said this in other videos, I like it in big rings. So we're going to cut it in big rings. We're going to slice ginger. Make sure I'm still going here. There we go. Love ginger in there. But you want to slice it really, really thin if you can. The thinner the better. And I would leave a little. I wouldn't put anything up, like I didn't put the cabbage up yet. Because in case the jar packs down too tight and you need some more, you can always add it. So leave that. Get some garlic going here. And it too should be sliced. Everything you put in there in the recipe should be really really sliced thin. The thinner it is, the better it seems to taste in the to me. You can do whatever you want, but I like garlic sliced real thin. See if I'm no chef, so okay, so got some garlic, got some ginger, got some onion, got my cabbage. And this is one tool you're going to need here that I've made up. It's just a piece of fruitless mulberry, but it's got to fit in the neck of your jar. See how that's got to fit down in there? That fits in your jar. And you scrunch that down in your jar. I don't know if you can see that. You kind of crunch it down. So I've got a layer of cabbage. Crunch that down. Put some onion in. Put some ginger in. And you kind of layer it like that. Put a garlic or two in. And a little more cabbage on top of that. I need my good funnel. Oh, sorry, I'm going to cut in front of the camera here. Get my jar funnel. I know I make a better door than a window. So we'll add some more cabbage. Pull this out. Crunch it down. Add some onion. Probably enough of that layer. Ginger, good garlic, and some more cabbage. Doesn't matter whether the jar is wide mouth, narrow mouth, or standard, or whatever they call it. Doesn't matter on the jars. If you were doing it in a crock or something else, you'd have to have a different weight than I'm going to show you. This is a poor man's way of doing this. Don't have to have anything special, just jars and lids. Okay, little onion. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a second with the, when I say jars and lids. Garlic, some ginger. Okay, put some more cabbage. As you can see, cabbage, that was a whole head there. And I've got another part of a head here. So it crunches down quite a ways. Hope you're able to see. Anyhow, put this jar here. I'm going to cut some more cabbage for the next couple of go arounds. Cut it thin. I like it thin. You cut it thick, whatever. It's not complicated. Not complicated at all. A slice of. Okay. Punch this down. And here, crunch. Put some more onion. Another garlic. A little more onion. A little more ginger. See, I'm having to cut some more ginger in. That's why I'm glad I left it out. Might even put a whole garlic in there. If it's little, you put a whole one in there. It'll pickle or sour or whatever you want to call it. I'll put some more cabbage. You just keep doing this until you get your jar full. You don't have to worry whether it turned into a liquid. You don't have to leave it very long. None of the other complications that I've seen with other recipes for sauerkraut. Love ginger, love garlic. Just put, I was doing this outside on a table, but got too windy. So here I am in the little studio I have. I think that's going to be enough. Just right. That is just perfect. Okay. I'm going to show you the other tricks now. Put that up. Throw that away. Put that over here. Clean this off. I got a couple little tricks I got to show you. Saves you a lot of headaches. All kinds of stuff there. Alright, so here's the little trick. Got this jar, put your funnel there, and now we know that we have a 3% solution brine. We're going to just fill that up till it's over the top of the cabbage. Right about like that's right about like that. Maybe just a touch more. It doesn't matter how much you use as long as you're over the cabbage. Now, here's a trick. It's going to save you a lot of grief, a lot of money. This is a rock that I use quite often for fermenting. It's just a flat rock that I broke in half so it would fit down these narrow mouth jars. And I know that it's sterile because I've sterilized it a couple times. And you don't want foreign yeast in there. You literally put the rock in. And it holds the cabbage down below the liquid level. Okay? So now you can buy kits. I have a kit, but I wanted to show you how to do this kind of the poor man's way. You literally take a lid, a new one preferably. Blocking the way here, I know. So here's a lid, here's the jar, and you from the inside out. You don't want to do it from the outside in because stuff can get in there. But if you do it from the inside of the lid to the outside of the lid, and you simply just put a little tiny hole in there, tiny. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's tiny. And you put the lid on the jar, you put the ring on the lid, and you let it sit 3 to 4 weeks. Now, to speed this up a little, you can push that down a little. Add a little bit of the juice from your other batch of sauerkraut, which is would be considered a starter. Just add a little bit of juice to it. And there you go. Set that. Takes, you can't have it hot. It has to be in at room temperature. You set that on your counter. Probably be better in a dark place. And this I did the same. This is the same recipe. And as you can see, I eat it as fast as I can make it almost. It's really good for you. And like tradition, with my recipes, I will eat some of it. Now this has carrot in it, and I like the carrot in it, but it's not as good as just without the carrot. I just had extra carrots. What you'll find is this is really crispy, and the sooner you eat it, the crispier it is. But I'd say gotta go at least 3 weeks. Oh yeah, oh boy, that is so good, so sour, so fresh, very yummy. Thanks for watching.